What is up? Man, you guys are in here early. I love it. Hey, how's it going? Exor, hey man, thanks so much for the resub. Man, 2 months, thank you. That happened right before I was, just right after I went live. Man, you guys are on it. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Toastface Grilla, what's up? Homelab new, notification squad, yeah. Hey yo, Takano, how's it going, man? Man, how's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully good. Long day, long night too. But yeah, things are a little bit crazy around here. But yeah, anyways, so what's up? How's everybody doing? Hopefully well. Yeah, hopefully your guys' projects are going okay. I've been working on this next video. It's kind of exciting, but hopefully it helps some people. But yeah, I've just been, man, working. Right after this, I got to continue editing. Man, I got to figure out how to edit videos faster, or how to offload that. I mean, I can't offload that now, but man, I got to figure out how to edit faster or be better with my time management, I guess, because yeah, just trying to squeeze in too much. Congrats on 10K, thank you. Yeah, I woke up to that today. I was like, yes. Like I've kind of been watching. I knew it was coming. I thought it was gonna happen yesterday or maybe when I was, sleeping. But I woke up and it was like exactly 10,000. I was like, oh yeah. And then on top of that, I think YouTube, they rate limit. I think their API only shows every 10. So I was like, I was hurrying up and trying to like record it on my Raspberry Pi back there. And I was like, yes, I got it exactly at the 10K. If not, I was gonna fake it with code. I was gonna go back and send the same command and code and do it. Cause I'm like, no one will know, but yeah. But yeah, awesome. Good man, how are you doing? Yeah, XR, I'm doing good, man. Just super busy, trying to yeah, get a lot of the stuff done. Working on videos. I've been migrating. Have been migrating. I have fully migrated everything from Rancher 1 to Rancher 2 now. And that includes everything. I mean, everything I used to run before. I basically shut down my old Rancher 1 servers. I have SSL running for like 10 domains, well, subdomains and top level domains, all my certificates, all my CI and CD, everything. So yeah, it's a super good feeling. Last night I was like pushing code and the code was, hit my new Kubernetes cluster here at home. I was like, oh man, this is where I wanted to be like 3 months ago, but I just couldn't focus on it. But yeah, it's super nice. So I got some more tutorials coming soon on some of that, because man, some of that stuff's tough to figure out. I mean, like, I don't know what we're trying to do, with whatever Kubernetes or Rancher. It's like people have whole entire organizations that get paid to do this. Meanwhile, we're figuring this stuff out at home. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you don't have a ton of people to ask this stuff to either. So, but I've been plugging and chugging, and hopefully I figure it out for all you guys, so then it's just super easy. But yeah, anyways. But yeah, good man, how you doing? How's it going? Unknown R6, how are you? How's it going? Good to see you. XOR, congrats on the 10K. Thank you. Yeah, 10K. Yeah, crazy. Well done, man. Thanks, Toastface Grilla. I swear it was 3K when I first found you a month ago. It's insane. I would agree. I think about 2 months ago, I was about 3K, and then like, maybe it was a month and a half. I don't know. I just know, I remember the number 500 for a long time, and I remember the number 1,000 for a long time. Everything else has just been going so fast, and yeah, but I don't know what's normal for YouTube, because this is the first time I've done it, so I don't know what's normal. So I feel like it's gone fast, but then I see other people who have been around for years and have 100K, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm cool with that. Like, if it takes me 5 years to get to 100K, that's totally cool, because I don't know. I'm just gonna make videos, even if people don't watch them, because for me, it's documentation to go back and look at. I mean, I'm not joking. I actually go back to my videos and watch them for documentation, and then I tell myself, why didn't I document this so people can copy and paste it? So if you're in Discord and you see me push into my GitHub repos for all the documentation, that usually means I just watched a video and I didn't have copy pasta for everyone. So, so yeah, but yeah, I'm not joking. I go back and watch my own videos for like, how did I do that again? Because sometimes I make them like I figure it out and then like a day later I make it. And so I only have so much capacity in my brain. And once I have something in my brain where it's just like, once I store it somewhere and I know where I can find it, my brain's just like, okay, you don't need to remember what that is. It's just like a pointer, you know, a pointer to that information, like in like in CS. But anyways, but yeah. So anyways, yeah, just it's been crazy, but super awesome. Like everybody's been super helpful, and man, I can't believe how nice people are in comments too on YouTube. Like, because I've always heard just like all of these horror stories about people getting trolled and just outright mean. I mean, I've had a few comments, but I don't mind. But man, people are so nice. People are so nice. I love it because I think I'm a pretty nice guy too. So anyways, XOR, nice. Takano, remember I found you, but if I recall, you were at 2.4K. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's insane. But yeah, anyways, yeah, what are you guys working on? I've been seeing in Discord a lot of stuff on Rancher, Kubernetes, just like a lot of hardware talk, a lot of Homelab talk. Takano, more networking, I think, and well, not so much network rack, but more talk about GuacD, I think, the project by Apache. So yeah, what are you guys working on? I'm working on everything, I feel like, at the same time. But yeah, it's super duper busy, but yeah, and plus on top of that, like, man, it has been blazing hot out. I don't know if it's hot where you guys are at, but man, it's been so hot here. It's super humid and just thick, but yeah. XOR, I'm moving home, so I pause till I move home tomorrow. All right. Well, hopefully moving home is a good thing. Sounds like a good thing if it's going home. Yeah, I know that I dread ever moving, me personally now, because it's like I got to figure out some kind of continuity for all my stuff that's running. Not that I dread figuring it out. I dread doing it. But then again, it'd be fun to build up a whole, like, what I have, kind of a mini version of what I have now in the cloud for 2 weeks while I move and get stuff set up. But yeah, it'd probably be shorter than that, because the first thing that's going to get plugged in is, whatever, my servers. But yeah, well, hope the move goes well, man. Takano, I've just been looking for into 10 gig network and trying to find some used hardware. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. I still keep an eye on that Arista network, the RJ45. Well, I don't think it's RJ45 because I saw some video where some guy said it's RJ48 once it's shielded, but I don't know. But anyways, copper, I'll say that. I still have my eyes on a copper 10 gig. We'll see. That Arista one that everyone, well, people on YouTube keep saying it's around $300, but it's not. It's always like 5 or 7, so I'll just wait. But yeah, are you going full 10 gig, or are you still going with your 2 ports on your MikroTik switch? Homelab new, I've been messing around with FreeNAS, setting up a firewall on it. So far, it's not cooperating. Yeah, I've seen some of that. Yeah, was it you I think it was you in Discord that was saying you were trying to set up a firewall, and every time you rebooted it, the rules were gone. I think it was in Discord. I don't know. Most of the time during the day, I only have a chance to like glance at it because I'm working. But yeah, that stinks about firewall. I think it was your firewall rules not sticking. But anyways, that does not sound fun. For the most part, for me, like FreeNAS has just been pretty solid. But I haven't locked it down, I guess, as much as you're trying to lock it down too. So, which is a good thing. So when you figure it out, yeah, let us know, because I'd love to know how to restrict almost everything on there possible, except for the web UI and whatever ports I need for Samba shares, which is probably like a range or some 4 or 5 ports. Toastface Grilla, I'm waiting to put rest. Sorry, my eyes. I didn't put in eye drops, and I'm gonna have to here in a minute because they're so dried out. Waiting to put rest of my rack together, but stuck waiting for the wall mount, the mounting bolts in the mail. Man, that stinks. You got the whole rack, you got everything ready to go, and you just don't have the bolts. That stinks. That stinks. Hopefully they come tomorrow. Well, for you, you're in Australia, right? So hopefully they come today for you, because that means you have your weekend project worked out for you. Arizona here, and it's 110 out currently. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I know someone in Las Vegas who says, she says, it's been crazy. Sorry, I got to put in eye drops. My eyes are just killing me. Oh, all right, that's a little bit better. I usually put some in before I start. That's like part of my pre-game warm up, but like for some reason I was just like futzing around and trying to figure out a couple of things, and I was just like totally spaced out. I have a list of things in my mind that I do kind of during like right when I start my stream, but anyway, hey, Sether Marks, extremely curious how you back up your cube cluster. I was watching your vids. I must know a nice solution. Okay, so I back up my whole entire Kubernetes, Rancher configuration. So I run a single node, non-HA, Docker version of Rancher, which then gives me my Kubernetes cluster single node. And so backing up that is super easy. So I have a video on it, and I have to admit, like Rancher's way of doing it is a little bit, it's a little bit too complex. So I found an easier way to do it. But basically what it boils down to, the way I do it, and I should update my documentation, and I have a video out. So if you want to do it the proper way, I have a video on it. If you want to do it the under the radar, undocumented way, here's how, it's done. So basically you stop the Rancher container. You make sure it's stopped. It has to be stopped. Then you tar up your Rancher folder. That's in /op/ I think Rancher. Tar that up, start it back up. That's it. And then if you ever want to restore your Rancher server, stop the service, untar it, and then start it back up, and that's it. So it's pretty straightforward on a single node, non-HA. So the way that I've been doing it. But if you're running like RKE or K3S, Rancher's lightweight version of, hey, Seether Marks. Thank you so much for the sub. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah. So if you run K3S, RKE, so Rancher's version of Kubernetes, or Rancher's solution that's not Docker, there's a different way, and they have documentation on it, and they're super good on documentation, man. Like the thing I'm working on now, I learned that I appreciate Rancher's documentation a lot more, because some of the things you work on, there's zero documentation. I mean, we talked about this before with Proxmox, how their documentation's kind of lacking for whatever reason. But Rancher has so much documentation. I can't believe it. And it's so good. It's step-by-step everything. Albeit some of it is a little bit dated, but that, as we found out from the Docker scripts that they reference, are old, but they say, hey, go look in the GitHub repo. But anyways, I digress. I'm talking about documentation now. But anyways, if you want to know more, see my video. If you want to know the undocumented way that I figured out, I can put it in Discord, or I can update my documentation on that video too. So yeah, let me know, Seether Marks. Hopefully that answers your question. That was a really long answer to your question, but I hope it addresses it. Takano RJ48, when it's shielded. Yeah, it was the video you sent on Discord. And man, I appreciate that guy. He's no nonsense. Like, let's teach some networking to people who may not know anything about networking. Yeah, you're right, Takano. That's where I picked up that tip, RJ48, when it's shielded. See, I just totally absorbed that. Just 2 ports. Okay, so the 10 gig. Debating on whether to use fiber or Ethernet. Ethernet has higher costs, so I might go with fiber. Yeah, I don't blame you. And then if you can, why not? It's only 2 ports. It's like, how often, after that, are you going to be able to say, hey, I'm running fiber optics? Toastface Grilla, I recently went fiber and haven't looked back. That's awesome. I want to run fiber, but I'm really not sure how I would use it yet. I mean, I only have one switch. It's not 10 gig. And it's not even in my rack yet. You guys saw it. It's up on the wall. So I'm always like, I want to use it, but I don't have a reason to yet, unless I do an uplink to another switch or something like that. Hopefully I'll figure out something to do with it. I mean, I probably will if I have to uplink, because I'll need more than 1 gig. Fumosis, hey, thank you so much. Man, thank you. Thank you for the bits. Thank you. Oh, there's my purple Mega Man. Thank you. Wow, 200 bits. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. But if I ever get another switch, because I have one, I haven't outgrown my one yet, but if I ever get another one, I'll probably do uplink, because I think my uplinks have mini GBIC, and those support, I don't know, 4 gigabit or something more than 1 gigabit. And so I think then I'll have an opportunity to use fiber, but I want to. I just don't have enough networking equipment yet, but soon, maybe soon. Homelab new, yep, that was me, haha. Now I'm magically waiting 15 seconds after boot and re-enabling the rules, and that works. Yeah, okay, so I thought that was you. Yeah, super odd. Like what's resetting the IP tables like when you reboot, I think. I think that's the problem you're having. That's super, super strange. I'm surprised that's not documented too, because FreeNAS is pretty good about documenting stuff, or TrueNAS, you know, they're pretty good about stuff. They're pretty good about a lot, that's for sure. Homelab new, there are some weird ports like 5375 and I think port 6000, which are actually not supposed to be exposed, as they apparently expose sensitive services of some type. Yikes. They're only supposed to be exposed on the loopback interface. It was actually patched at some point not to expose them, but there seems to have been regression, it seems. That stinks. And hopefully they know about it. Hopefully that's like in the forums and they're like, somebody's saying something. Hopefully. If not, we should say something. We should say it to them secretly though, because like I guess you can't if it's on GitHub or something like that, but you know, if there's a security flaw, you don't always want to like call it out publicly. But yeah, good to know for sure. Haven't done anything firewall wise with FreeNAS, but yeah, for sure. Awesome. Man, thank you. Man, thank you for the 200 bits. Man, at some point I gotta do some more work on my bot. He's pretty boring right now. And I've been thinking of doing some stuff and integrating with channel points. I think I said this before, but yeah, I've been thinking about integrating channel points and letting you guys change the lights, the color of the lights in my room. I just need a good solid like hour to write think it out, look at the APIs, write some code and make it work. I think I could do it in an hour. Not under pressure, not if like I was doing it right now, no way. But I don't know, maybe I'll have some time tomorrow. But I want to figure out a way to like take advantage of these channel points, because right now I don't, and I haven't seen like a ton of like great great uses for them in different channels. But I was thinking like, hey, why not just like, so I was thinking spend 1,000 channel points, change the light color in here to whatever you want. Actually, I doubt it would be whatever you want, because, you know, maybe I could. Maybe I could have 1,000. Yeah. Okay. I'm starting to figure it out now. Okay. I think I know where I'm going. I'll have a button for each color. That's what it will be. So it won't be anything you want. It'll be one of like 8, as long as they give me enough rewards on my channel. But anyways, so yeah, hopefully, I don't know. I'd like to do that soon, because like channel points are underrated or underused, I think, on Twitch. Like on Twitch. Homelab new, like on Twitch. What are you talking about? Like on Twitch, LOL. Toastface Grilla, for me, I needed full bandwidth for 3 PCs to iSCSI to SSD TrueNAS. Went fiber. It's been great. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, because I can saturate a gig link easily. And between like the cameras I have, streaming devices, and then like if I'm working on videos or pushing videos from here to the server or back and forth, like I'll saturate a gig link, which to me, waiting on it isn't that bad. But when I have other services running that are, you know, some of them are pretty sensitive to latency, it sucks, especially video. And so not only, you know, do I have video cameras, I also have video running and getting encoded in real time to a real-time service, so it kind of stinks. So I wish my backbone was more than 1 gig. Even if, and maybe it is, I haven't looked at my switch that closely, but yeah, gig's so easy to saturate. But yeah, what Toastface Grilla, what switch did you go with? What are you getting 10 gig with? Because I'd love to know. I'd love some recommendation for 10 gig switch. And I know the MikroTik one is super awesome, but if I'm gonna go 10 gig, I want at least 18 ports, and that might be redunculous and expensive. And I'll wait if I need to. But yeah, I need some recommendations on switches that have 10 gig. Kuroi Kage-san, how's it going? Kuroi Kage, I'm running Proxmox with a GUI, using the GUI to log in to the web interface. Tends to require a password after logging in every 5 minutes. Anyone ever run into this? When I Googled, all I see is stuff about timing, which all my times are correct. Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't run into that because, I had, it does prompt you for the, to save your passwords, which I think creates a cookie. So the only thing I can think of is like, do you have cookies blocked for that website? I know it's a local domain probably, unless you did some DNS magic. Yeah, mine saves my password pretty good. I mean, unless I close that tab and come back like a long time later, it's there. And that's probably set by a cookie by the browser. I would assume that's how it's getting set. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. What browser are you using? Using Chrome, Firefox? Have you tried other browsers? Fumosis. Make disco trippy light mode tier. I like it. I like where you're going. Yeah, like party mode. Like someone could just totally trigger party mode for like 1,000 points. Is 1,000 a lot of points? I don't feel like that's a lot of channel points. Because mine are pretty low right now. I'm totally gonna do it. And now it's like I've said it out loud and I've announced my plan, so I have to do it. And I do have some extra time tomorrow. Well, I already made, so I'm off tomorrow, but I already made a lot of work for myself to do. But maybe I can squeeze this one in. I just got to figure out a couple APIs. I got to figure out Twitch API, the real-time API, and their channel points API. Then I got to figure out Hue's API or Home Assistant's API to then do it with my bot. And then my bot. And then I write my bot, which connects to my channel, which listens for commands, which when someone tries a command, I'm already writing the code in my head. When someone tries a command, it'll go out to see if you have enough channel points. If you don't have enough channel points, it'll just say, sorry, not enough channel points. If you do have enough channel points, then it will redeem. Oh no, even easier, because I don't need to worry about redeeming. Twitch worries about redeeming. So I'll listen for like a redeem success message. Oh, this is getting easier by the minute. But yeah, anyways, I'll stop writing code in my head. Let's see here. I've been thinking about doing iSCSI remote storage for some of my things. Is it encrypted in transit? Yeah, good question. I do use some iSCSI, but is it encrypted in transit? That's a good question. I think so, but I'm answering just because I think it should be, but I don't know the answer to that. But my iSCSI is on a weird network, and it's basically like a point-to-point network between two machines that no other machine can even communicate on. It doesn't even physically exist. It's all virtual. But it's not to say somehow some other thing couldn't get on that network. But if someone could, then that means they have access to my Proxmox, and then they have access to everything. So whatever. Hey, UCA, how's it going? Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Takano, someone reported an exploit for Wise cams. Not that big of a deal. You need access to the LAN. And instead of waiting 45 days to release it to the public, in case of no response, he made it public 10 days after all because he wanted the bug hunter flare on the Reddit forums. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you know about a bug and an exploit. And yeah. Yeah, sometimes you gotta, yeah. I mean, companies pay, companies will pay. A lot of companies will pay for bugs. They just have bounties for them. And so that's their way of, I guess, hush money, Here, here's hush money. You tell us what the bug is, and we fix it, and we'll pay you, but just don't tell anybody. And then they usually don't talk about it until the exploit is fixed. But yeah, that's interesting. Total oof, right? Kuroikage, are you running any sort of federated identity service? Another good question. Yeah, because maybe your token's expiring if you are getting if you're doing OAuth. Yeah, good question. Takano, 500 bits at $6.99. Yeah, are they? That sounds weird. I think it's because Amazon takes their cut. Twitch takes their cut off the top, and the person who buys them basically pays the cut. Yeah, I don't understand their billing. Toastface Gorilla, just get the MikroTik 4 port with a few mods, fans, heatsinks, bigger caps. I'm saturating the 10 gigabit on file transfers to and from SSDs, which is super happy. Yeah, that's awesome. So the MikroTik also has a 4-port version that has 10 gig, right? Because I think four ports would be enough for me. Then my other question is like, how is like the backbone, like what's the max throughput for something like that? Is it 40 gigs? Because like, or is it 10 gig? Like, I don't know anything about the MikroTik switch, but you would hope that it would be at least 4 times the fastest port it has. So that like, if someone is saturating a 10 gig by themselves, they're not, slowing down the whole entire switch. Yeah, curious to know about that. Homelab new, no encryption, most of it's offline. Yeah, I don't know enough about iSCSI either. Like if the target, the tunnel or the connection is even encrypted. I mean, maybe it is. I mean, I'm not saying that your storage is, but the actual communication. I mean, if you're talking about channel points, I have 12.7K, so I don't feel like it's that much. All right, I'm gauging this now. I don't know what it'll be. Maybe it'll be, I don't know. Maybe it'll be 10,000 then. 10,000 to change the lights in here to any color you want. Except for off or like pure white. I guess off would be okay. It'd be kind of weird though. It'd be kind of weird. I mean, these wouldn't go off, so it'd just be dark back there. But yeah, it sounds awesome. Yeah, all right. So it doesn't feel like that much. Takano has totally raised the bar for everyone then. Kuroikage, I tried both Firefox and Chromium and have the same issue. Nope, nothing like that. Okay, so not running, no federated services or OAuth going on, and it happens both Firefox and Chromium. What version? Are you on 6.2-ish, 6.1-ish? Are you still on 5-ish? I'm assuming it's 6.2 and keeping it up to date. And then do you have any ad blockers or cookie blockers or script blockers on those browsers? Because yeah, that's the other thing I would ask, because I'm assuming that's how it sets the, when you sign in, it sets a cookie to keep you signed in, I would assume. How long are DHCP leases on your, oh yeah, another good question, because your IP could be changing. Yeah, I like it, this sleuthing. UCA, great content. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm just getting to your content. Well, this is content, micro content. But sorry, it's taking me so long to get down here just chatting. But yeah, thank you so much for coming in and for following. I appreciate it, and for chatting too. Takano, he got bashed by Y staff by completely saying every single interaction he has had with them. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a good, I don't know. Doesn't seem like a good, something, I don't know. I'm not going to pass judgment, but if he's a part of the wise community, it doesn't seem like that would be a wise thing for a community member to do. See what I did there? I'm here all day. Kuroikage, it only seems to be a local issue. If I log in from another computer, it runs fine with no logouts, only from the GUI on the server. Don't recall off the top of my head, but more than an hour at least, so everything here I have static IP. Huh. If you log in from another computer, it runs fine with no logouts. That tells me, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm still going down the ad blocker, cookie blocker, no script, ghostery thing, and something's getting blocked. Just guessing though. I mean, you could open it in private mode or in incognito and see if it does it then. because then usually all those add-ins are disabled though too. Like when the bug was reported, when they responded and everything. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. It is very strange indeed. You check both between computers. The cookies, yeah, browser strange should be developer tools. Yep. Techno, switch info over on hardware. All right, yeah. This is the 4-port one then, right? Hue API is also pretty easy to use. All it is JSON, if I recall, or attempt doing something similar. Yeah, hopefully everything's JSON, because if not, I won't write it. No, I'm just kidding. Probably not really. Yeah, because I usually do web development, and it's over HTTP protocol. So if it's anything else, then I'm just kind of like, don't really want. I'll find someone who wrote a wrapper around something else, so then I can use HTTP and just treat it like any other web service. But yeah, good to know. Yeah, I haven't done anything with the Hue API. I mean, I played with it, like I got it integrated with Home Assistant, and so I'm like, okay, do I use Home Assistant's API to do it, or do I just go directly against Hue? I kind of feel like I'll go directly against Hue, but I know if I do that, I'm gonna have to create some like kind of developer or something. I don't know. Hopefully I can do it over local ports. But then I ask myself, okay, if I could do it over local myself without any authentication, then that service really isn't secured and anyone could do the same thing. So I don't know. Hopefully they do something like the push the whole button, generate a QR code kind of thing, or give me some kind of access token. So then that way I know, hey, at least my device is kind of secure. But yeah. Backplane is 41 gigabit. Yeah, all right. For the 4-port CSR 305 1G 4S Plus. In the one I'm using, only about $150, $170 USD. Not used, but US dollars. Okay. That sounds like a pretty good deal. Especially if the backplane is 41 gig. Man, I totally guess. I have no idea. I'm not the greatest at networking, but I was just like, has to be at least 4 times, you know. But that would be all 4 ports, those 4 10 gig ports saturated plus an extra gig port saturated, which would be a ton. There's no way I could pull that much stuff. But that is awesome. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. That is a pretty good deal. And then so how many ports are on there? So if you get 4 10 gigabit, and then what? Does it have 18, 24? How many 1 gigabit ports does it have? I'm sorry I'm like asking all these questions when I can just pull it up, but I get distracted when I open up browsers. I go start looking at everything, so too easily distracted. 82 gigabit switching capacity? Jeez, that's pretty awesome. Sid Cassidy, hey, is your Discord bot running on Kubernetes? Oh yeah, as of last night it is. Yep, every command you're running is getting sent to, well, it's getting sent to Discord, and then my bot that's running in Kubernetes, in Rancher, in my basement, is responding. So yeah, as of last night, I had a choice last night. I was like, okay, I've migrated 2 of my services over. Let me take that back. I migrated all of my services over, but I didn't have my CI pipeline running. So he's been running, like my bot is male and a person. It is running in my Kubernetes cluster. It's been there for about a week, but last night I just totally plowed through and fixed all of my CI/CD pipelines so I can deploy that code all the way through to my Kubernetes. So anyways, so I can deploy directly from my machine now. We talked about this in Discord a little bit, and I finally figured it out. So I'll have something when I have a little bit better documentation on it for sure. But yeah, it's now that I got it, I'm just like, yes. Now it's funny, like I feel like I've been working on this for like a month and a half, off and on. And really I've net zeroed, I'm back to where I was before I went from Rancher 1 to Rancher 2. I have no extra capabilities, but I'm just on a brand new platform. But it's exciting in itself. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like the same. I don't know. I feel like it's like when I used to get super excited and build a new PC, and I would be so pumped up for like all week, I got all my parts in, I'm gonna build it or whatever I'm building. And I build my PC, get everything installed, install Windows on it or whatever, install all my games, and I'm like, okay, I have the same thing, but a little bit faster. And then it just kind of like, I don't know. I kind of feel like that right now, where it's just like, net zero with a little bit of benefits. But anyways, so sometimes for me, it's more of the, I guess, the journey for sure. But yeah, see, Cassidy, what do you want to know about it? How to do it too? I hope so, because I'll have something for you. Fumosis, it's on its own. iSCSI traffic is not encrypted, good to know, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible to protect iSCSI traffic from prying eyes. Many consider isolating iSCSI, yeah, best practice. This means iSCSI traffic gets its own dedicated network, either separated physical switches, yeah, or VLAN. Totally agree. And the way that mine's set up, I don't know if you heard me earlier, there's a virtual network that only 2 NICs on this virtual network, and both those NICs are virtual, are even on. And then it's just a point to point. There's no DHCP, nothing. Nothing can even talk to that network. It's on a whole entire, subnet that doesn't even make sense, that it doesn't even have a route to get into. So yeah, cool, good to know. I did that, and I didn't do that knowing any of that. I just did it because I was just thinking more about, I don't know, broadcast and all that, and I wanted to kind of keep all of that traffic separate. But yeah, good to know. Thank you for looking into that. Most iSCSI systems also support the use of challenge handshake. Okay. Auth. Oh yeah, CHAP. Man, I haven't heard CHAP in a long time. Windows stuff. Windows auth. But anyways, CHAP protocol, by using CHAP, iSCSI initiators are forced to authenticate using CHAP secret before they granted access to the iSCSI target. I like it. Going deep on this. Yeah, so when I set up my iSCSI target, on FreeNAS, yeah, I had to have password, stuff like that too. That's awesome. Thank you. Toastface. That's what I'm doing on separate switch and VLAN. Nice. Full disclosure, I lifted that straight off the web. Hey, Fumosis, it's okay, man. It's okay. It's good to know that stuff. I'd rather have it. Well, I mean, that would have been awesome if you just pulled that out of your mind and told us that, but if it's off the web, then I 100% believe it. But yeah, thank you. I could tell the grammar was too good for Twitch chat. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and all of your punctuation was what give it away to me too. By using chat, iSCSI initiators are forced to authenticate by using. Yeah, I thought, this might be copy pasta, but yeah. But no, thank you for sharing, for sure. Like I said, I needed iSCSI. I set it up the way in my head I thought it should work. I didn't really double check my work, but I'm happy that I made a pretty good choice. Kuroi Kage, I'm thinking it's a web browser thing or some weird thing about Proxmox not liking a login from itself. Oh, you're logging in from yourself, because when you said from the server, I just thought you meant, I just thought either that was a typo. So you're logging in from yourself. So is this running on a full server with a UI and Proxmox is running? Or is this Proxmox server? Yeah, I don't understand. When you say you're logging in from yourself, have you scripted something, or do you mean you're actually running a GUI on top of the OS that Proxmox is running on? Debian, I think, right? Yeah. My apologies, so many questions. TS in chat. No worries. This is good stuff to know, because one day it's going to come up and I'll be like, yep, yeah, I heard someone talking about that. Here's what you do. Takano, it's a small switch. Is this the 4-port one we're talking about, the MikroTik? Has one single PoE gig port for uplink and powering the device. Oh, okay. I've seen this one in Craft Computing. I've seen this one. I know which one you're talking about. I think Jeff was using it. Now I know. Now I have a frame of reference of which one that is. It's the desktop one. It's the MikroTik 10 gig desktop one, I think. That was the first time I ever heard of MikroTik ever. Hey, Karaoke DW. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Interesting. Are you logging in from the VM that sits on the same Proxmox host? And if so, how many NICs does that Proxmox have? CS305, that's the model. Okay, so 1 gig Ethernet 4S and 4SFP plus Ethernet. And the model that supports PoE in it, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I think this is the one. I think this is that desktop one that I saw Kraft had a while back, and I was like, that's awesome. And that was the first time I ever heard of that brand. I get that. I often just lose interest in the project once I've solved it all. Yeah. Some cheap switches can allow VLAN hopping, so keep an eye out for that. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Like, that's the point of VLANs, right? Sedated, thank you for chatting. Yeah, that sounds like a bad thing to me. Techno, and the Hue API requires you to push a button and returns a token. Yes, just what I was thinking. Good on you, Phillips. Good on you. Because that's their way of doing their. It's not even two-factor auth. I guess I don't know. I don't know what kind of factor auth is. But yeah, it kind of stinks sometimes when I'm doing stuff up here, like when I was doing the Home Assistant thing and trying to get it working, because my Hue hub is in the basement and it is fast. And so like a few times I've had to like hit the button here, go run down there and do it. I don't know why I just didn't bring a laptop with me, but it times out pretty quick. But yeah, good to know. Fumo says, everything on the internet is true. I believe it. Everything in Twitch chat is true too, right? Yeah. This switch allows you to use VLANs via Switch OS router OS. Interesting. Kuroikage-san, I'm logging on from the physical server running Proxmox. I just put the XFS, oh, I see, in the standard Proxmox. Proxmox has 2 NICs attached. It probably has something to do with cookies then. It probably has something to do with cookies. Yeah. Because it's probably trying to set a cookie and like localhost, it's getting confused on cookies. I guarantee it. Because same with web development, like when it tries to set, like it's probably trying to set a cookie for like its host name, but you're accessing it from localhost and it's not being set properly. You should open up the dev tools and you might see some red in there and it might just say like, it's either going to be something about same site or same something, cross script. Oh, well, I doubt cross script, but yeah, it could even be core stuff. But I bet it's cookies. Because if you can get in for 5 minutes and then it's logging you out, that auth probably sets a cookie there. And I just said cookie like 10 times, so I apologize. Takano or Sedated, I've run into some where even if the VLAN is not routed at all, just 2 ports, and that's it. You can still hop VLANs by exploiting poorly designed switch OS. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds scary. Toastface Gorilla, do you speak Japanese? You pronounce it very well. A little bit. Watashi no obasa wa Nihonjin desu. So my grandmother's Japanese, and I studied Japanese for, I don't know, 6 years, 7 years? I don't know. Yeah. Well, it was probably longer than that. But yeah, so 4 in high school, 4 in college. So, but that was a long time ago. And then also my grandmother's Japanese too. And like my dad's half Japanese and he was born in Japan. So I've been exposed to it for a long time, but I don't speak it like as well as I should for studying it so long. But then again, I haven't, this is the first amount of Japanese I've said in, I don't know, probably since the last Twitch stream when Kuroikage-san came on. But yeah, anyways, long story short, yeah, I know some. It's easier for me to translate if like if someone says it to me, I can understand, but for me to speak is a little bit different. But I think that's the way that I learned. Like in our Japanese classes, you know, our sensei, you know, they talk to you 100% Japanese the whole entire time. And, you know, you might respond or repeat, you know, 1 out of 50 times. So, but anyways, I've forgotten most of it, but I like to use it when I can. But yeah. Gimli, hey Tim, followed your WSL tutorial today. It was awesome that you can run Linux subsystem on Windows 10 nowadays. Don't see the benefits yet though. All right. Oh, that's awesome. You did it and don't see the benefits. Well, I can tell you a couple. As a developer and even if you're a system administrator or anything, developer, administrator, you name it. You use Linux or you kind of use Mac. The benefit is that you can use a Unix-like system in a terminal. And so like on a Mac or like on Linux, and now like on Windows, you can run a Unix-like system and install, versions of Linux or get Linux utilities that work across all those systems. And so the biggest benefit for me is that I can write terminal commands. I can SSH into things. I don't need to use PuTTY because that's a nightmare. Not a nightmare. It was great while it lasted, but ever since doing terminal stuff in Linux, I was just like, never want to touch PuTTY again. Nothing against it, but just an SSH, typing in SSH and your name at some server is enough for me. Because it's a great tool. Sorry, I don't mean to knock it, but those days for me was, yeah. Anyways, but you get to use all the tools, you get to use all the commands, you can install stuff through apt. All of the documentation you see out there for Mac and Linux where it's like $sudo and you're like, how do I do that in Windows? Well, now you don't need to worry because you can do it in WSL. And the other great thing is, like, for me, when I develop software, like Macs by far are super developer friendly. For non-Microsoft stuff, and even for a lot of Microsoft stuff, just because it's Unix-like. And there are so many utilities and so many things out for Unix-like systems that Windows hasn't been able to take part in for a long, long time. And so WSL was their way to get Linux running on your own machine. So anyways, long story short, you can use a lot of the tools and a lot of the commands all of your Mac friends and Linux friends are doing too in WSL. And I'm sure there's a million other cases, but for me, it's like I develop in WSL. Like when I open a terminal, every terminal you see in all of my videos, I'm on a Windows PC, I'm on this PC, but I have WSL set up, so I'm directly in the Linux subsystem, because I want to just make sure that like commands I type will work anywhere, where Mac, Windows, Linux, and so. Anyways, I'm a huge fan of WSL. WSL 2 is out, and it fixed a ton of stuff that was suboptimal in WSL 1. And plus, Microsoft's done a ton of enhancements to Windows to support it, like disabling antivirus scanning or something. I don't know. WSL used to be really, really slow, but now it's improved a ton. So anyways, that's my spiel about WSL. I'm totally like sugarcoating the whole thing because it's really awesome, and I'm only telling you like high level stuff of why I use it, but for me it's like now you can copy and paste all the documentation that's out on GitHub and it will actually work on your Windows machine. Yeah, but so sorry, a long one. I'm Lymanson. Curious if anyone is using SATA DOM in their server. I just bought one, so I wouldn't have to use a 2.5 inch drive bay for a boot. What's SATA DOM? I don't know what SATA DOM is. So you wouldn't have to use a 3.5 or 2.5 inch bay in their slot. Yeah, tell me more about SATA DOM. I'd like to know. Techno, they allowed you to use certain ports to be trunk port, and it wouldn't allow other ports to become trunk port. Along with that, each port can be locked to only a certain value. You guys are talking about router OS, right? But then again, not 100% sure, but they're a pretty reputable brand, but it's not Cisco grade. Yeah. I don't know. I have my Cisco one and I bought it because Cisco was like, if people just bought Cisco because it was a great brand. And now I've had it for 6-7 years now. It's worked perfect, flawless, but now there are other alternatives now in this space, and I love it. Weren't many alternatives way back then when I bought mine 6-7 years ago. Phimosis, pfSense feature 8786 in kernel WireGuard supports in progress. Nice, that is awesome. Good for them. Awesome for them. Might sway me to come back. But yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully they get it soon. Yeah, the MikroTik have a 65K switch, so hopefully they know what they're doing. Yeah, hopefully the person who pays 65K for a switch knows what they're doing. And the funny thing is that 65K switch is probably half the cost of whatever their competitors is too, because they're pretty affordable. I don't want to say cheap because it seems like it's manufactured really well. But at the same time, Man, if that's the cheap version of the 65K switch, I wonder what the Cisco version of the 65K switch is. Yeah, that's crazy. Homelab new. I never heard of VLAN hopping, but I feel like it's something I should know about. Wikipedia time. Yeah, me too. Right now I'm like, tell me more. That you guys are my Wikipedia right now, because I'm not gonna get distracted in the web. But yeah, I totally agree. Like I kind of understood what you're talking about. Like it was just gonna be like, yeah, like jailbreaking, basically jailbreaking outside of your VLAN, which doesn't sound good, but VLAN hopping in their terms. But yeah, interesting. That's awesome. I love Japan. Read, write, translate a little, and lived there a year. All right, so yeah, Nihongo hanasemasu ka, right? Can you speak Japanese? Yeah, Toastface Gorilla. If you lived there a year, then you can speak a little Japanese. Kuroikage, I'll check out the dev tools when I make it home today to check it out. Thanks everyone for helping out with this. Yeah, no problem. So dev tools are what? Command on Mac? Well, it's F12 if you're on Windows. Should open up. If not, it's Command Option I. That's what I usually press on Mac. And I think it works on Windows too. I think they're pretty close. But yeah, check it out there. I guarantee when you open the dev tools and after you sign in, it's going to say something about this same site cookie or something like that. Can't remember what the exact words are. Gimli, you make really awesome content. Found a new hobby. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of tutorials. Sorry if it's all tutorials, but I don't know. I have so many things I want to do, but I've said this a few times, but I'm just kind of blazing a path. I'm marching towards something. And once I get towards that something, I'll have everything I want right now encapsulated to where I can do other things too. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully, even if you don't do one of my videos or anything like that, hopefully it gives you some ideas of projects you can do on the weekend. Most of my things are pretty short. Tutorials, 10, 15 minutes. Try to keep them short. And they, supposed to be something you could do in a day, in an hour, a couple hours at home over the weekend. That's kind of what it is, like a weekend project every week. Tales for Gorilla, yeah, Kuroikage is saying, yeah, he lives in Japan. Awesome, I live in Tokyo now. Actually, I've been here around 10 years. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed to speak Japanese in front of him. 10 years. Sugoi, 10 years. Tokyo is the place to be right now. I lived in Osaka and Gojo, outside Nara, running Airbnbs. Man, that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. Yeah, my family's from Yokosuka. Homelab new. Why did Microsoft call it the Windows subsystem for Linux? Shouldn't it just be called Linux system for Windows? Yeah, yes. And Microsoft's never been good at naming anything. I mean, a lot of companies are good at naming anything. Microsoft, I mean, except for maybe Surface, but even that one was kind of questionable because they already had a Surface. Yeah, I forgot about that. So like the Surface they call the Surface now wasn't the real Surface. Their first Surface was like a tabletop computer. But anyways, I don't know. I don't know why they called it that. I think it's, yeah, it does seem backwards, doesn't it? It should be like the Linux subsystem for Windows. I totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's like some technical reason why they did that. But I can't tell you. Yeah, I just say WSL now, and even when I try to think about what the acronym means, the Windows Subsystem for Linux, I'm just like, oh. I basically, when people are like, what's WSL? I tell them it's Linux on Windows. Should be called LOW, L-O-W. Newfalona, how's it going? Ginletion, the tutorial wasn't as straightforward as I thought though, due to a version such. I had a lot of trouble with ZSH, was definitely easier on my Mac. I totally agree. Yeah, ZSH, totally, yeah. So Oh My Zish, I use it all the time on my Mac. Yeah, it's super easy. And so the problems you're experiencing there, and I'm not making excuses, not being a Microsoft apologist, but now like any problem you run into inside of the shell, it's not Windows' fault, it's Ubuntu's fault, which is the funny thing, because the problems that you're having, I've had too, and I think I have a comment in there like, hey, if this didn't load for the first time, whatever, you know, check this file to make sure it's there. Maybe that was NVM, but really it's Ubuntu now. And so I've had problems before getting Omazish running on Ubuntu. And for a long time, they didn't even have the greatest documentation on it either. They were just like, run this curl command, and they never thought about like, this doesn't run on Ubuntu. So you need a ton of dependencies too. But yeah. I'm sorry you had problems. I know I did kind of gloss over a few parts in there, and there's a few steps I could have made a little clearer. So I'll see if I can improve the documentation, because I think I have some copy pasta there. Toastface Gorilla Statum, little SATA SSDs that plug into a port like a USB flash drive. Okay, that sounds cool. STA DOM, but he's saying STATA. STA DOM or a SATA DOM? SATA DOM. If you have any questions, I'm using SATA DOM. Cool. So these are just SSD drives that connect via USB port. Because yeah, that sounds awesome. So it's not like your typical flash like you have on USB pen drives. It's an actual solid state drive like NAND flash. I think, yes, you got that. DZ, do you run a single SATA DOM or do you have it running in a RAID? Dale Kurt, hey, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a little while. How's it going? DZ, yes, I have it running in my super micro server configured in a RAID 1 mirror from my OS. Interesting. So when you plug it in, does it think it's just a hard drive? Yeah, I gotta look into this. Hopefully they're affordable too, because that's the best. Like when you can just start hiding drives inside of the machine that have USB ports on the board, because then there's nothing sticking out. Yeah. Gimli, don't apologize for that. Tutorials are awesome, especially yours. It explains the hard stuff in a really understandable way. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, thank you. I know that there's some things that I go over too fast, and I look back at them like, oh my gosh, I just made, There's one tutorial where I skipped a whole entire part. And it's one of the few that I went back and edited in, put on the same exact shirt and edited in, a minute of me talking, because I knew that like I skipped a major part of the tutorial that would not have been clear without it. But anyways, yeah, if you ever see something like that, call it out in the comments on YouTube and or in Discord, and I'll make it clear, at least in the written part in GitHub for sure. Hey, Cavalcanti, WSL is named that way due to licensing trademark issues surrounding the Linux name. Hey, okay, that's why it's so weird. It should be Linux on Windows. Lao. I like Lao better than that. Good find. Thanks for clearing that up. So it wasn't Microsoft and their infinite wisdom and their their knowledge in naming products. Actually, Microsoft's been okay at naming products. Some of them not so much. But yeah, interesting. That's good to know. All about branding. You can't have Linux before Windows. Yeah, that's right. That is right. That is so right. It's WSL because it's Linux running on top of Windows, not the other way around. Windows is the subsystem. Huh? Is it? Yeah, I need to look more into it. Why how it actually runs. I don't know. I'm just like, ever since they introduced it, I'm like, yeah, give me some. At first, I didn't know what to do with it. At first, I'm like, this is cool. I have a terminal. Thanks. But I'm gonna still do my stuff in a command prompt. But then, like, after software development, I guess it just gave me an option now to develop on Windows. And so, like, during the day, I develop all day on a Mac. At night, I develop all night on Windows. So I love it. And I don't have to miss a beat. I get to use all the same tools, all the same, Git commands, SSH, NVM, Node, terminal, everything. It's so fantastic. It is great. I just wish that somehow someone would figure out how to run Xcode outside of a Mac, because that's the only thing sticking me on the Mac. Not that I don't like my Mac, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know, it'd be nice to just either throw Linux on there or Windows on there, just because. Sulaiman, Heyo, how's it going? Good to see you. That looks like a new name. Welcome, I think. And if it's not, I apologize. Haven't seen your name lately. How are you? I'm Lymanson. I picked up a 64 gig SATA DOM for $21 on eBay the other day. It sounds pretty good. Not too expensive, but more expensive than a standard SSD. Yeah, but feels like a lot more, I don't know, portable. Because like, you know, in my server, I can't plug in hard drives easily to my server. I actually had to remove the CD-ROM drive and replace that with the drive caddy to get one more drive in there. But if I had a USB option like this, like SATA DOM, that sounds pretty awesome. That sounds pretty awesome. Fumosis, when you get disconnected from WebGUI, prompted to re-log in, check to see if the PVE process on the PVE nodes have restarted in the last few minutes. Perhaps you have a process that is flapping. Yeah, another good call. I like all these. Hey, Sulaiman, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. I knew that was a new name. Either that or you have been in here before and talked and didn't follow. But I appreciate the follow and appreciate you being here and appreciate you chatting. Thank you. Yeah, another good possibility. I'm betting cookies though. I'm betting cookies. Just because like things when you access them from local hosts and trying to set cookies, it doesn't like it. And so you can trick it and just set a host entry. So that would be a possible fix if it is a cookie thing. Just set a host entry for whatever the host name is, and then just go to it by host name or something. But you're accessing it by IP address. Oh, but it's localhost. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm troubleshooting something I haven't even seen yet. But Gimli Theon, it took a little time, but if you search well and go problem by problem, it's quite solvable. It's not really a problem of your tutorials. You can't take into account version changes, right? Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, I'm always yeah, I worry about that sometime too, like how relevant will my tutorials be? But at the same time, I'm excited for it because it just gives me more content to make. Like if whatever I'm doing tomorrow, you know, the next VNext comes out, I'm just like, okay, well, there's another video someday. So it's kind of cool, but kind of scary at the same time. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I try to make a lot of mine kind of, I don't know, a little generic. But the ones recently are super focused on things. They won't always be like that. So the one I have coming is not so much. I've been looking into them too. You happy? You went there out? Might just get one and mess around with it. Yeah, I'm super interested in these SATA DOMs for sure. Sebi, 1976, easier option. Delete Windows and just run Linux desktop as your daily driver. Hey, I like where you're going with that. Yeah, I was just saying, like, I would love to wipe my Mac and run Linux for a couple weeks and see if I come back. You know, I don't know if I would. At least for my work machine, you know, way different than my personal machine that's running all this. I'm kind of stuck with Windows right now, and I don't want to say stuck like I hate Windows. Like I love Windows, I love Mac, and I love Linux. Or either I hate Windows, I hate Mac, and I hate Linux. Like I like them all the same. Like I use them all differently, and there are some things that are easy to do with different OSs, and I don't know. I know people like and love and hate OSs, but each one gives me something a little bit different. And so I love them all the same, like my kids, you know, that I don't have. And you don't have favorites either, right? That's what I hear. I have checked that place before, no issues in the PVE process, good call. Yeah, so these SATA DOMs, I'm super interested. I might pick one up too. So are they like enterprise hard drives? Like I'm trying to figure out like how I miss these things. Are they older? Because you're saying like sometimes you could find them new for roughly X amount of dollars. Like, Homelab new, it really is something that everyone can target Linux, from all these different platforms. My friend used it to do cross-compiling conspiracy. Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, it solves a lot of weirdness if you're trying to do the same thing on Windows. Like, so I'm a JavaScript Node developer, mostly front end, and I do mobile. And so getting Node running on Windows was such a pain in the butt. And then like all your environment variables, and you got to do everything different too. And so like when you set up your manifest for all your code, you have a package.json. And like, if you have one person running Windows on the team, your package.json needs to be like, have all of these exceptions in it for Windows, because some commands won't work and some will. And, you know, Mac and Linux, totally fine. But then, you know, and so this was part of the problem that, you know, the WSL solved was, now you could tell the person with Windows, hey, just install WSL, use that in your terminal. Now when you write your code, commit your code, check your code, test your code, install all your dependencies, run it in WSL, and now we're all, you know, we're all running it, you know, almost exactly the same. So yeah. But yeah, I totally love WSL for that. Like I'm a huge fan. Like if I could have a WSL shirt, I would. Easy clarification, I have two 32 gig SATA DOMs in my super micro server. If you're using FreeNAS, TrueNAS, don't try to use hardware RAID to mirror them. When you install your OS, just select both DOMs for the target devices. Interesting, that sounds weird. And they just automatically mirror? So you must, where's the RAID coming from then? That's interesting. And you can, like it is a RAID 1 then? Like you're totally getting mirroring, you can unplug one and then plug it back in and they'll resilver or sync up. Yeah, that sounds interesting for sure. Yeah, Sulaiman. How do you say your name? Is it Sulaiman or Sulaiman? I'm going to say that until you correct me. Exactly, love all OSs. I do too. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I use them all and I have problems with each, and so I'm just kind of like, well, I like them all in different ways. Kuroi Kage, for those with them regarding SATA DOM, what's the advantage of using that over a standard USB drive? Yeah, I kind of have the same question, but sometimes USB drives, like their interface, I mean, you can't install OSs on them always, you know, because the type of drive that it exposes to the system. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm Lymanson. From what I read, SATA DOM has better speed and reliability than USB. Interesting. Yeah. Point that DZ mentioned is TrueNAS installation option that they recommend. Awesome. Okay. So they have documentation on FreeNAS, TrueNAS. So it says, don't try to use the hardware RAID to mirror them. When you install your OS, just select both SATA DOMs for the target devices. Interesting. That's even, that kind of blows my mind right there. That like when you're installing TrueNAS, you could select two things to install it on. And it must figure out like, hey, these are SATA DOMs, and I'll create the array for you. Yeah, that's interesting. That's super interesting. They don't recommend RAID pass-through at all, just direct access to the drives. Yeah, I totally get that. So they must set up their own ZFS then for those two then. Yeah, that's probably what's going on. They're setting up ZFS for those two drives, just like they would any drive it has direct access to. And that's what they recommend most of the time too, is just give it direct access to the drives, because they're going to set up ZFS for you. I thought there was some other magic. I was like, these things are blowing my mind. See there, Marks? TrueNAS, it must be use a small RAID, small Z RAID 0 when you select 2 and register UEFI for boot. Must use a small RAID 0, a stripe, when you select 2? Yeah, I hope not. Hope not. That would, you have no parity then, you know? You have no parity. Hopefully not. I don't know. I mean, TrueNAS knows what they're doing. So most of the time I take their advice. Pretty much all the time. Yeah, that's interesting. I need to look more into these. I need to totally check them out. It's going in the notebook. When things go in the notebook, they may or may not get looked at, but at least they're somewhere where I can say, hey, what was that one thing I was talking about? Oh yeah, that's what it was. Okay, there you go. RAID Z1. Okay. Or a mirror. Yeah. I was like, whoa, they're telling you to stripe it? Yeah, that's interesting. Can SATA DOMs be powered by any SATA port, or is there some special requirement? That is also a good question. I was thinking these were all powered by USB. Was I misreading this somewhere? Because I thought they were all USB powered and that was their interface too. Hopefully USB 3 too, so it gets decent, throughput. The one I bought has a 4-pin power you put into your motherboard. Okay, yeah, totally looking into these. I thought they plugged into SATA ports. Yeah, I'm goes into the SATA. Totally makes sense now. Because somewhere along the way, I thought someone was saying it was USB, and I'm like, why is it called SATA DOM then? Awesome. Yeah, so it sounds just like an SSD drive that is just a different shape to me. Oh, direct on motherboard. Okay, so this is no magic. Okay, so this is no magic. This is just it's just like plugging your hard drive into the SATA without a SATA cable. Gotcha. Yeah, I totally agree. So I've never seen them, and I thought someone along the way was saying that they were USB. So I was like, okay, this is super interesting. How is it going to do a RAID? How does it even install the OS on it? I mean, some OSs can be installed on USB, but yeah, totally makes sense. It's just an SSD. It's a weird shaped SSD, right? Am I right? I mean, that's all it is. Like, it's just an SSD that's a different shape and doesn't take a cable. Yeah, okay, totally. I'm with you guys now. Thank you so much. Different form factor for an SSD if you don't want to. Yeah, I totally get it. 100%. Thank you. I'm sorry. Like, that took me so long to grok that. Like, this whole time you guys are talking about, I'm like trying to figure out in my head, like, how does this thing even work? Yeah, nice. Totally. Yeah, and that's awesome because like I think you mentioned, you have in your Super Micro, you have it plugged in there, which is awesome. Because like I mentioned earlier, I have some servers that I can't easily plug into any of the bays right now. And I think you mentioned that too. Like, you're out of bays. What do you do? And this is a solution, which is this. I like it. I like where this is going. I'm Lymanson, different form factor. Yep. Techno Tim on X9 generation Super Micro motherboards. You will plug into a 5-volt power. Okay, interesting. So it has power as well. I think I'm getting one to replace the tenacious chain boot situation I have going on. Right now, the whole system could fail if one of the USB flash drives. Hey, I'm there with you. I live dangerously on one of my Proxmox servers. I live dangerously. One SSD, and it's one that if it went down, I'd figure it out. I know it's not the best solution, and I'd never recommend anything you have running critical to not at least have a mirror. But what do you do? This isn't super critical to me. But yeah, I'm there with you. I should look into these things because yeah. Anyone else getting weird static? Or have my speakers finally died? Hopefully not. I wouldn't say it wasn't me. Suds up 12. What's up? Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. I mean, I don't hope it's you, but I kind of hope it's you because I had some static problems, I don't know, about a month ago, and it took me 2 days to figure it all out. And it ended up being this cable. It ended up being the cheapest fix I could ever possibly do, but I tried every other fix first because why would it be the cable? But the other thing is I could hear the static in my own headphones when it was happening too. So, but man, hopefully your headphones aren't dying. If they are dying, are you getting some feedback? I found this awesome thing. It's a loopback noise isolator. It's right here. This thing solves all of your static problems in any headphones. This thing is awesome. Like, I didn't know this thing exists right here. It's like this noise isolator. And so if you ever have any static in anything, you just plug it in. This thing costs like $6 on Amazon. It's like, even if it didn't fix my problem, I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just have it in my drawer just in case. But this thing will fix any static. They are awesome. Didn't know this thing existed. I would have loved this like 10 years ago, when you get a gaming headset that's buzzing because you have some whatever. Sound Blaster video sound card that's touching something and grounding out where it shouldn't. Like this solves everything. And so I plugged this in to my Go XLR. I plugged it directly into my PC, and any buzzing you hear goes, yeah, totally goes away. Yeah, ground loop isolator. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, awesome. I don't know. It's $6 on Amazon. They're just like, it's worth a shot before your headphones, because it might not be your headphones. Audio is fine for me. No static. I thank you. Must be on my end then. Thanks. Thanks, Pulse Audio. Yeah, that's exactly what it's saying. So Pulse Audio. Oh, are those your headphones, or do you have like one of the DACs? Pulse Audio. Do they make a DAC? I don't know. Because sometimes I've seen the external DACs can kind of do the same thing. I had one from Sound Blaster. I was a big Sound Blaster fan for a long time. I still have my DAC, and I plug it into my Mac sometimes because it sounds pretty good. But it would do that too. Yeah, and I always would think it was like the USB grounding out somewhere it shouldn't, but yeah. Make sure your cell phone isn't too close to your speakers. Oh yeah, or speaker wise, that's a good call too. Like sometimes, yeah, you know, you can hear it when it's coming in. Real Pingo, hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. Homelab new. How did you know? I use one of them too. Oh yeah, you're talking about the ground loop isolator. I always want to call them like noise loop isolator. I can never remember it. Ground, it makes sense because the ground loop isolator. This is true. On the newer X10 generation super microboards, the SATA connector is yellow and hence, sorry, it's going up, yellow, and has built-in power pins, hence needs no 5-volt cables. That's awesome. That's awesome. They combined them into one. Yeah, I'll sign me up for that, especially on a server, because who wants to run like cables everywhere? And it sounds like the perfect plug for one of these SATA DOMs. Saved me, yeah. These, I'm telling you, $6. You ever do anything sound? $6 for one of these guys, and you'll be so happy you had it. Even if you keep it in your junk drawer, one day you'll pull it out and be like, I knew I bought this for something. Oh, Pulse Audio is audio system for Linux. That's right. Man, it's been a while since I've had to mess around with sound stuff on Linux, because most of Linux I do is just server. That's right. Yeah, and I think I had to install Pulse Audio to get like, I don't remember. Was it I don't know. One of the sound cards that were on the Intel boards. I think I had to. Maybe not. Made by the very controversial Leonard Pottering. I get hissing on my speakers, headphones. Still haven't been able to figure that out, but should. Takano, yeah, I'm telling you. Noise loop isolator, all the way. All the way. It's a $6 fix. And if it's not, just get it on Amazon with the free shipping, free returns thing. Or, like I recommend, just keep it in your drawer, because you'll never know when you need it. It saved me already. It saved me twice on a stream. Just from the static I was getting from something, and I just plug it right in. What was that? Sometimes on shielded speaker cables can get static if cell phones are too close. And I've run into that at work. Yeah, I have too. Sometimes you can hear like when your phone's like doing the clicking, beeping, you're about to get a phone call thing. Yeah. I've reset my audio setting, and it's only started like a month ago. Before that, I had no issues with this. Yeah. Stinks. Sometimes you can hear like your fans too. And sometimes on your microphone, like the person you're talking to can like hear the whining, like coil whine from your microphone and your laptop's fans, but they have no idea. Someone I talk to, and I can just hear it, but I never say a word because it's usually a meeting. But sometimes I'm like, man, that stinks that your microphone's doing that the whole time, and you have no idea. Hiss is usually a gain. All right, we have some audio files in here. Toastface Grilla, he knows a lot about audio. Any recommendations for a SATA DOM module? I'm all ears, because I don't have one. Love to know. I've had bad power strips cause noise too. Another good call. Yeah, I always just assume, since a lot of my things are USB powered, it's like my PC, and it's like, you know, something in there is not grounded out properly, or a fan is just being weird, and then it's somehow getting into my audio, because, you know, everything I have here is USB powered. Real Pingo. I think this stream is right for me. I use Portainer IO and Docker a lot. Oh, welcome, welcome. And I was working with networks and pfSense. Yeah, you are at home. You have definitely found a home in this channel because that's what we talk about. We talk about, yeah, you name it. Anything you can spin up at home, or things you spin up at work that you would like to use at home, or things you can't use at work but use at home. That's what we talk about. Yeah, so awesome. Well, welcome. Welcome. Homelab new, not sure, or this is I'm Lymanson. Not sure if I can recommend one, but they seem cheap. $20 on eBay shipped to you. Yeah, yeah. Like, what are some good brands that are out there? Like, are the big names doing this? Is Crucial in there? I know these are consumer brands, but you know, Crucial, Samsung, you know, Seagate, Intel, or is this just like some company who started their own, you know, form factor and it's been taking off? Because yeah, I'd like to know. Just rattle off some good brands. Or brands that you have, and then I'm just gonna say, all right, you said so. Purchased my SATA dons from Newegg for about $40 a piece, 32 gig modules made by Supermicro. All right, they're in this. So they're making storage stuff too, nice. Okay, pretty reliable in your experience? Yeah, it's a good, yeah, what, I mean, if it's still SATA under the cover, I mean, you still have all the things that come with SATA drives in general, right? Like, you know, wear out and all that, right? SNES, SNES, 23, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Is that SNES, like pronounced SNES, or is that SNES, like Super Nintendo, the acronym, and then another S on the end? Because I hope so. But I'm okay if not either. Takano, I'm gonna do some testing for sure as it gets annoying. Yeah, yeah. If you, well, I'd say if I were in Arizona, I'd let you borrow this thing, but $6 Amazon. I'd, like I said, just keep one in your junk drawer. I have many junk. Well, actually, I have 2 junk drawers. But yeah, it's super nice. I actually keep mine right here because I never know when the buzzing is going to start, and I know that if I plug it in, it's just going to take care of it. AnyBlast, hey, that looks like a new name. Make sure there are no power cables close to your sound cable. Yeah, another good call. That's kind of what the route I went down when I heard the buzzing in this. I was like, okay, yep, totally, I know what it is. It's my Go XLR. It's powered by USB. I have that plug into a hub. That's in, you know, a surge protector with 1,000 other plugs. It's got to be that. So I start tearing stuff out, realized it wasn't that. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe a different power plug. I'll unplug the USB that's going into the hub, plug it directly in the PC. And so I did all of that. I even tore a lot of my cords out, and then it ended up being just this XLR cable right here. But yeah, it's no fun when those things start happening, but it's awesome once you finally solve what's going on. So yeah, it's a good call. Power close to it too, or you know, a surge protector or something. Some power running through there just causing interference. I'm Lymanson. From what I read, they're more reliable than USB. It's like a cheap SSD drive, yeah. So I would expect you would get could put in your server and forget about it. Yeah, I would think so too. It's the same tech as a SSD, I assume. I mean, I just heard about these things today, so I'm making all kinds of assumptions. But yeah, DZ very reliable, been running strong for almost 5 years, no issues. That's interesting. As like your OS, yeah. Because like, do you get the wear out? Do you get to read the wear out and see the estimated life left? Because yeah, that's good news. That's good news. I get some wear out. I have some wear out on some of my SSDs, like 55%, but I've had them for years, and I'm just like, does this, you know, on the wear out, does it mean like at 100% it's no more, or does it mean maybe more, or could just totally die at any minute? I've never understood the wear out on SSDs. I'm actually kind of scared to look at some of them. I mean, because it's like, well, when do I replace it? Do I replace it when it's 90? Do I wait till 100? Yeah, if anybody knows the answer to that question, I'd love to know, because yeah, and I think it's the only times I ever see it is one in Proxmox will tell you if it has direct access to the drive. And then I think, is it Samsung? Samsung, they're a Magician, their utility that shows you all your drive statistics. those are the only times I ever see it, and I'm just kind of like this, when I look at it. I'm like, oh my gosh, is it getting, is it getting close to 100%? And when do I replace this thing, or do I just let it die? And I think that's the answer for me personally. I just let it die. I should have it mirrored, and then when it dies, it dies. SNES, SNES like bless. Okay, I'm there with you. All right, but SNES is cool. Yeah, always when I see that, I just think Super Nintendo, just because my my childhood days. But yeah, well, welcome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Toastface Gorilla, I ended up buying a FiO E17K USB DAC. Okay, haven't had a problem since, and it sounds great. Awesome. That's good to know. Yeah, I know there are lots of people who use DACs now. Personally, I bought one for my old MacBook because it just didn't have as good a sound as I wanted. And then Creative had those external ones on sale, like a fire sale, and it was USB. So I was like, hey, this is perfect. Because now I can use it for anything if it's USB. Because I was always a fan of like buying a sound card. Like, like onboard sound to me was like onboard graphics. Like, growing up and building PCs, I was just like, I never used onboard sound. I don't know. I mean, yeah, onboard sound wasn't the greatest, but I don't think, I don't know. Building PCs growing up, I was always just like, if I'm buying a video card, I'm buying a sound card. I don't know why. And it was super painful then too, because like going to Linux, like Creative never had the greatest drivers or any. So then I'd have to use integrated sound if I do a boot or triple boot like I used to do. And all those years and all those dollars I spent on Sound Blasters X5 and Sound Blaster Z, I mean, it sounded pretty good, but I didn't have great headphones for it. So I probably could have got away with integrated sound on my motherboard. I don't know how you guys feel, but yeah, I don't know. I was always that way. Not anymore. I'm just like, yep. Give me the sound that comes on motherboards, because it's improved a ton. It's improved a ton for sure. Castle. Hey, Tim. I'm new here. Well, thank you. It looks like a newer name. Castle _. I like it. Thanks so much for your helpful videos. Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you for being here. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for hanging out. Stay a while. And yeah, thanks for calling it out. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, and if there are things wrong with them too, hey, you can tell me too. I got thick skin, and I always say that like all feedback, even critical feedback, is a gift, because it helps me improve. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Sedated one. I over-provision my drives to extend the life a little bit further. Usually SSDs are over-provisioned from the factory about 7%. Awesome. Yeah, I always hear that, over-provisioning is good in general. But like the wear though, like, yeah, I'm sure I could Google it. But I never remember to Google these things when I think of them. It's usually like taking a shower, driving, or walking. But I just don't know what acceptable wear is on an SSD, and at what point do I actually need to replace that? Maybe not. Maybe I just let it die. Because I've never pre-replaced a drive that was alive anyway, so why would I treat that any different, I guess? So yeah, maybe I just answered my own question. Toastface Gorilla, I'm also big on over-provisioning. Awesome. So when you over-provision, how do you usually do that? It's just yeah. Are you over-provisioning in Proxmox or like how do you go about doing that usually? Sedated one, yeah. I'm Lymanson. I'm curious if there's a Netflix Chaos Monkey for Homelab. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I can be your chaos monkey. Just give me a couple endpoints and I'll start hitting them with things, or I can start unplugging things or shutting servers down. Yeah, that's so interesting and so awesome. Netflix, the whole chaos monkey thing. Most of the time, the chaos monkey is just me in general, just like doing daily work. I don't know. But yeah, that's good to know. That would be awesome to know, especially if there was one for like. You could kind of be your own chaos monkey, I guess, shut down a VM, do your services still work, shut down a service, shut down a cluster, shut down one node, shut down a switch. But my my stuff here at home is nowhere near enterprise grade, but yeah, it would be awesome. Would be awesome. That's awesome to think about. What would you, I'm Lymanson, like, if what's one service or one thing you have that if you shut off, like, things wouldn't work? For me, it'd be, yeah. For me, it'd be just my Proxmox server because everything's all in one. Well, I have two, but I don't have a cluster set up with Proxmox. It sounds so interesting and so fun. I just don't have the hardware right now to run two full clusters. And I have some services that, like, they don't play well. They're not meant to be clustered, some of the services I run, unless I load balanced them and did everything properly. But yeah, Takano, now I'm thinking I could definitely be just me running a thick power cable for the rack right next to it. Yeah, any way to shield those wires? It's my only solution. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, not sure. Sedated, just leave more space on partition. Nice. Or shorten your partitions. Love it. Awesome. Pinot Noir Superstar. I think you guys mean under provision. Oh yeah, there you go. Usually leaving 7% of the drive unpartitioned. Okay. I like how you show us how you wait for installations, load screens. Any reason why you don't cut them out? Helps me know if my installation looks like yours. Yeah, so kind of lately I've been kind of cutting loading screens out. So that's a good call out. Because I have changed that recently. So it depends on which ones you're watching. Depends on which ones you're watching. On my older ones, I kept loading screens there and I sped stuff up. And I was like, I always, it's a gamble for me. Some people, do they want to watch me and fast forward while a loading screen is going? Or do they want me just to cut to the next part and then know, hey, I should probably do this thing and pause the video? Yeah, either way, you let me know what works best for you. I just made a conscious decision a little while ago to like kind of cut out most loading screens. Or if they are important, I'll speed them up. But most of the times now, I'll show the result of that loading screen afterwards. So I still try to keep some kind of context. Like if I say run this command, and I know that command takes 3 minutes to run, then in the next piece, I'm going to say, okay, that just ran, whatever. Here's the output. Here's what it should look like. Just because I don't know. The fast forwarding up the screens like worked good at first, but then I was kind of like, okay, there's just a lot of like white noise in between that. So I don't know. Let me know. But yeah, my newer ones barely have any sped up or loading screen wait times. But yeah, let me know. Sci-fi Jeep guy. Oh, it was fun at work to walk into a small DC and put the APC power out from the wall to get real uptime data to clean shutdown test. Really? Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Just pull the plug. I do that too for some things that are on UPS, but I'm always kind of scared. But that's awesome to do it for a whole entire data center. Like, yeah, good luck. Homelab new, are ZFS datasets necessarily constrained to one VDEV? I'm thinking about adding some more capacity to my server, but I'm not sure if doing so would increase the likelihood of data being lost. The last thing I want is for the wrong combination of disks to fail and lose data as a result. I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. I'm not a huge ZFS expert. Most of my ZFS pools are set up RAID Z2. Yeah, I don't know. Is there someone out there who knows, if datasets are constrained to one VDEV? That's a great question. I should know more about ZFS, but I was a hardware RAID guy for so long. Like once I went to Proxmox and FreeNAS, that was my first time doing ZFS. So yeah, I don't know the answer. I'm sure someone does because there are a ton of smart people in here. I'm Lymanson. If I shut off anything, I think it would fall down. Yeah, me too. I'm right there with you. Doing anything with redundancy, in my mind, takes up so much extra time, but it is a good thing to think about, especially when building something for work. I'm a staff software engineer, and always tell junior engineers that 80% of programming is data modeling, error handling, and error recovery. Yeah, good tips. Good tips. Yeah, I'm kind of there too. Like, you know, at work is a totally different story, and basically ethic, you know, that I apply to everything. At home, I live dangerously on stuff because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have backups, I have backup plans, I have offsite backups, you know, I have my data in multiple places here. You know, I take data loss seriously, but service, you know, service outages here, not so serious, besides my network. And then I do run some public services, but those, you know, I treat very seriously. But all of my other stuff, I'm kind of the same way. Like it'd be super fun to play with someday, but for me, it's just having enough hardware to do that. I have enough capacity in some of my servers to run high availability on some of my Kubernetes stuff, but at the same time, it's like, man, do I want to, you know, spend, you know, 4, 5, 6 hours, you know, on a Saturday trying to get high availability going, or do I want to learn something totally new that I haven't done yet? So yeah, my attention span kind of gets short. Like, don't get me wrong, all of that stuff is super awesome, and some people love it and do it at home, but it's just hard for me to do that with all the other stuff I'm interested in too. So yeah, I'm right there with you. But that's a good call out though too about software engineering, that a lot of it is data modeling, error handling, and error recovery. Yeah, because all important. Yeah, because that's, absolutely data modeling, error handling, error recovery, absolutely. Because most people code the happy path and think about the unhappy path later. Hey, that's me, you know, and I think it's just a part of building a lot of features, you know, and you get designs for features and requirements, and requirements some of the times for stuff that I build don't include the unhappy path. So, but yeah, good call out there. Homelab new, or would it make sense to just make a new Z pool? Yeah, interesting. It's funny because I've kind of been thinking similar stuff. I want to have another Z pool and sync between my 2 Z pools if I have enough drives. So yeah, that's a good question because I don't know the answer to it. So I'm going to be doing a ton of Googling right before I set up another pool here shortly to be able to at least back up my current pool. So I have 2 copies of that whole entire pool here, which is something I want to do. Maybe if they're way too long, then I understand. Oh, talking about the loading screens. Yeah, that's a good call out. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I always try to show the previous screen after I run something so that someone knows, like, hey, you know, he's at that screen, I'm not at that screen yet. But I guess maybe that's a good call out that you don't know that next screen's coming, and you might just be like, I don't know where he is now, I'm lost. So yeah, good feedback, thank you. I'm Lymanson. My understanding is a new VDEV will give you more space in a shared pool and allow ZFS to stripe across VDEVs. But if one VDEV gets destroyed, the whole pool is lost. Interesting, gotcha. Okay, I'm Lymanson. We just need to be able to convince my work to give us $5,000 Homelab equipment budget per year to practice real work scenarios at home. I've been asking work if they would allow Homelab to go under the education credit. Nothing yet, but making progress on this. Yeah. Hey, that's awesome. That sounds like a great use of some of that, budget that's probably not getting used. Ask them if it can come out of the travel budget for this year and the conference budget for this year and the education budget, because it's probably not getting used by a lot of companies. But yeah, I like it. I like where you're going. It's a creative way to ask for something like that. Yes, a new VDEV will give you more space, speed up the pool, and give you more resiliency. I run FreeNAS pool with 3 VDEVs of 4 drives in RAID Z1. Interesting. So why did you choose 3 VDEVs, 4 drives in RAID Z1? I guess you just kind of said it there. More space, speed, and resiliency. Why not have one Z Z pool of 12 drives in RAID Z3. Then any 3 disks could fail, and right? You at the risk of 2 drives, 1 VDEV. Yeah, for that I think most people go with speed then after that, I thought. But yeah, one of my previous employers would take some old decommissioned equipment and put it toward a lab for our juniors to play around with and learn. That sounds fun. That sounds super fun. DZ, I run 2 VDEVs, RAID Z2 with 12 disks. Awesome. Yeah, I'm 6 disks, 1 VDEV, RAID Z2, I think. I didn't have all the drives at the same time. Yeah, I'm gonna be in that boat here soon. Hey, Bubba Yaga, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Faux Crow. I'm a services guy trying to climb into sysadmin. Saw Tim's vid on his network, inspired me to convert my old gaming PC to a Proxmox server. Yes, that's, I say that all the time. People are probably tired of hearing me saying that about just convert your old gaming PC into a server to play around with. Spun up a Windows 10 VM to follow the Discord bot stuff, also working on OpenVPN on Ubuntu server, so I can remotely access my stuff. Thanks again for the great vids. Hey, no problem at all. Yeah, I got some stuff coming. I got some stuff coming for that Discord bot. I have some features I just haven't even written yet. I'm using a fork of it for my own. I just need to contribute those features back to that one. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad you were able to convert your old PC and put it to good use into a Proxmox server and get to play with all this stuff. That's awesome, because I never want people to think that they have to go and buy this huge server just to get into, virtualization, to then open all the doors of testing and playing with new systems, operating systems, services, all the things that are out there. So that's always what I say to people is take your old gaming PC, convert that to a server, or upgrade your current gaming PC and convert your old one to a server. And start learning from there. And then you get a taste of okay, do I need enterprise grade stuff? What's this server going to be used for real? This is kind of for play now. If I was going to use it for real and use it for NAS, do I start thinking about, just thinking about a RAID, ECC memory, all the things that enterprise servers have. And so I never want people to think that I need all of that before I can start. It's the whole I don't know. Scott Hanselman used to say the whole yak shaving thing, and so everyone has some reason why they can't do something. And so I don't want hey, I don't have an enterprise server yet, so I can't do any of this Homelab stuff. It's people are doing Homelab stuff on Raspberry Pis and whatever. So anyways, I'm probably beating a dead horse, but yeah. I'm glad you found a PC to install it on and getting to play with some stuff, because it's super fun. It's super fun. And once you start hosting some of your own stuff, you're this is awesome. It's your own little cloud. I think we're going to see a trend of that a lot here in the future. And I think we're going to start maybe seeing some more products coming out for people keeping their stuff safe at home on their own cloud. So sorry, I went a long ways on that one. Real Pingo, you skipped my message. Oh, Real Pingo, I'll find it. Hold on, I might not be able to find my way back. There we go. Any suggestions to make a full backup or as much as possible of an Ubuntu server? In Windows, I use Acronis, but I have no idea how to do something like that on Ubuntu. Isn't Acronis? Oh, so okay. So it depends. So you basically want a full disk imaging system, right? And is your Linux server virtualized? Because if it's virtualized, then you could do things if it's virtualized on Proxmox, you have a lot of options. You can do snapshots, you can use Proxmox backup server, you can back up to Proxmox itself, you can back up to a NAS, you can do a ton of stuff if it's already virtualized. If it's not virtualized and it's a physical machine, or you're not using Proxmox, but you are using a hypervisor, see if that hypervisor provides some kind of capability. Then if you're not, or it is a physical machine, yeah, that one's tough. I mean, I haven't had to do something like that in a while, but my go-to all the time, and so this is a full disk image system. I would use Clonezilla, and I know that's old school, but that's how long it's been since I've needed to do a full system backup. And if you are doing a full system backup, you might want to ask yourself, do you need to do a full system backup? And you might answer yes right away, but then you might start to think like, or I would ask you like, what's on there that's so critical? And you would say, well, I have this database on there, whatever. I have pictures on there. And then I would say back to you, well, why not just back up just the pictures somewhere else, or back up just the database somewhere else? And so maybe you can find a way to just back up individual things on that drive with, I mean, you could name your system, you could do rsync, you could mount volumes, you could copy stuff over to somewhere else. In the future, Proxmox backup server, you could use that to install an agent and copy those files off to somewhere else. So you have a lot of options. It kind of just depends on how you're doing it. So me personally, I know which folders to back up on every server. And so I treat all of my servers kind of like my containers, and what they always say about Docker containers, like treat them like cattle, not like pets. And so, you know, if one dies, oh well, I'll just spin up another one, mount the volume that was there, and I'm back to where I was. And I know that operating systems aren't that easy, but I never back up full entire operating systems. I just back up folders on drives where data might be living, because I know like, one, it's gonna take a ton of space. And so 99% of the stuff that I back up would be kind of pointless for me personally. So I just back up folders. And then if something did go wrong with the machine, well, I'll reinstall Ubuntu, restore those files back to where they were, and then I'm off and running. But Acronis, yeah, that's you're if you're on Windows and using Acronis, you're used to getting a pretty decent backup. So there's things like your backup there. So there are alternatives out there. I just don't know good ones because my backups are usually, you know, folders on servers, and then I'll rsync or copy those off to my FreeNAS, and then all of that gets backed up and backed up multiple ways into the cloud and stuff like that. So sorry, there's a really long answer to that. But yeah, could you explain the entire, yeah, could you explain to do an entire backup? Yeah, you guys are getting into it now. More like the equivalent of a time machine. I don't know what you're looking for. Yeah, so there's so many backup solutions. So I totally agree. Yep, Clonezilla, that's what I called out too. If you want to do full disk imaging. Restic, haven't heard of that. You could even go super simple and cheap and spin up some very basic services on a Raspberry Pi. I totally agree, 100%. Just go full nerd. Get ZFS file server, 10 gig networking, iSCSI to delegate your storages to other server. That's what I'm trying to set up at home. Yeah, go full nerd. I totally agree. Go full nerd. Yeah, hey, you guys are liking Clonezilla too. It's fantastic. Yeah, I haven't used it in a long time, but that was always my go-to for imaging anything. I still have a Samba share that's called Images that I share on my network, and that's where I used to dump all of my images when I would image machines. But I haven't had to do that in a long time, fortunately. But Restic, yeah, I haven't heard of that, but I'm totally going to look at it now too. But yeah, so I do wish, I mean, I know your backup exists, and there's another open source backup system that exists too that sounds interesting, because I used to love the days where I could install an agent on a server, define some folders, and forget about it, and have those backups somewhere else to some other system, some centralized system, and then set my revisions and have 5 days of backups, and then 4 weeks or 3 weeks of backups for all changes, just like Backblaze or anything else does. Like, I kind of miss that. I think that's where Proxmox backup server is going to. Because it's super nice to be able to say, oh yeah, this file right here in this folder, I deleted it, I don't know, a month ago, let's go restore it. And so restoring individual files, yeah, could be nice for sure. But yeah, I know there's your backup and there's one other one. There's definitely one other one. I can't remember the name of it. It's gonna kill me. There's another open source backup solution that I'm gonna look into and put in Discord later because I can't remember what it is. I actually got switched to Restic from Borg. Okay, my main advantage is that Restic doesn't require a server on the other backend and supports quite a few backends, including local storage and S3 compatible storage. Nice. As long as you can write an Ansible playbook to configure, I'm game. Yeah, I love the automation with Ansible. Sedated, I haven't backed up full disk in a while. I usually just back up configs and script. Yeah, I totally agree. I don't script the spin up process. I should probably do that. But yeah, Daisy Backblaze. Yeah, I use Backblaze too. But there's an open source backup solution out there, and I can't remember what it is. And it's not your backup, which seems awesome. But yeah, there's one other. But I do miss the days where I had backup agents on the machine. Rather than me scripting everything and figuring everything out, I miss the days where I installed an agent. And then I would go to some UI, it would show up, and I would configure folders, and I just knew it was gonna work. Kind of miss those days. Yeah, all my files on my NAS, I wipe, reinstall my OS on my PC once every 3 months. Wow. Usually up and running in an hour. Bacula. Yeah, there's another one, but not Bacula. I remember Bacula, and I've tried Bacula before. There's one more. I'll know as soon as you say it, but Bacula, yeah, I remember Bacula. Acronis, not Acronis. It's open source. Veeam Community Edition might be one to look at. Okay, I've heard of Veeam before. I use SyncThing. So I use SyncThing too, but that just keeps your stuff like synchronized versus a backup solution. Gorfy, man, Gorfy coming in. Dude, Gorfy, oh my gosh. Gifting all kinds of subs. Gorfy comes in, gifts 5 subs every now and then. It freaking blows my mind. Man, thank you so much, dude. Wow. Dude, thank you so much, Gorfy. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So fun. It totally was. Now we got Link. Yeah. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. That is so awesome. Thank you. And you really don't have to. Just like I always say, being here is enough. How have you been? Are you still playing? What game is it? PUBG? No. Yeah, no, what am I talking about? I need to look in the games channel because I totally forget. You are playing Tarkov. You said it before I could look. That's right. Yeah, it's getting bad. He's in deep. That's why we haven't seen Gorfy. He's living and breathing Tarkov right now, which doesn't sound too bad. Dadbot Mateus. Back to lurking. All right. How's it going, Dadbot Mateus? Yeah, but oh man, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it, man. The ironic thing is I'm terrible, still fun though. Hey, it's totally fine with me as long as you're having fun. I'm terrible at a lot of games I play, or I'm just like kind of okay, but I'm terrible compared to other people, so I know how that is, but still fun. I totally agree. Man, dude, thank you so much. It totally threw me off. We were talking about backup solutions. I still cannot remember. As soon as I hear it, I'll know. But it's an open source backup solution, and it's not your backup or Bacula. And I'm gonna, as soon as I get off the stream, I'm gonna look it up and post it in Discord, and I'll be like, oh yeah. Veeam, enterprise level, agent-based, backup, made easy, community edition, free for 10 clients. Nice. Not Duplicati either. Not Duplicati. Good call. Because I think Duplicati is also like a, like a OneDrive SyncThing thing where it's just making files available in more places. But this was more like, like Sci-Fi Jeep just mentioned, an agent you install and it backs up stuff. Anyways, but what I was saying, like, mainly a client that connects and moves files. Amanda backup. I have heard of that too. No, maybe I'm not even I know it's there. I have to remember where I saw it, and then I'll remember, but I'll remember for sure. Yeah, I use rsync personally, trying to think. Yeah, stands out. Yeah, rsync is pretty good. I mean, it's fantastic. It's blazing fast. I absolutely love it, and especially syncing permissions and stuff like that too. But there was one, centralized backup, which you installed an agent, and yeah, you could get Areca? I'm not sure. I don't think so. But yeah, where you actually get revisions, you get archives and you get revisions and you can restore, files. Because rsync, like you could sync a delete and then you're hosed. Just like any, availability or I don't know, just making your files more available. BRU, what does BRU stand for? Bruh? Brew? No, oh my gosh. I think I'll stop harping on it until I remember. But yeah, I love rsync too because it's so blazing fast and it's over SSH and it's just like SSH, it's so fast. Super fast. Yeah. Awesome. Well, man, time totally flew by. But I think I'm gonna call it a night. Man, yeah, sync thing, same thing though. It helps you sync. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Hey, Dadbot, I keep wanting to say Dadbot. Dadbot Mateus, love all the YouTube videos. Thank you, very helpful and informative. Both my Homelab and personal PC needs upgrading, and your channel is giving me lots of ideas. Awesome, that's what I want to do, is give ideas and inspiration. And you don't have to do exactly what I do, but if it inspires you to do something else, hey, that's a win in my book. But yeah, so man, I'm gonna call it. I will have something in Discord as soon as I remember this backup solution, because I think it's a new hotness in open source backup, and I think it is kind of like a year backup, which I tried, which was not the client for Windows was not fun. But anyways, I'm rambling like I normally do. But man, you guys are so awesome. There are so many follows, subs, gifted subs, bits. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you guys just being here in the channel. I'll probably end all my streams like this, but time is the most valuable thing we all have, so I appreciate you spending time with me. So I will have new stuff for you guys Saturday morning. Hopefully you like it, but yeah, we'll see. For anyone else that's new here, if you want to hop in the Discord, there's one right down below, or you can write !Discord. I'll do it right here. There's an invite to a Discord server. Thank you, Takano. Beat you to it this time. But a lot of people in here continue the conversation in Discord, where we talk about all kinds of stuff. And there are a lot of people more knowledgeable about me in many different areas. So if you want to continue the conversation there, we'll be there. So I'll see you guys Saturday 3 CST, and then I'll have a new video for you on Saturday morning. So yeah, you guys have a great night. Also, thank you so much. Hit 10,000 subs today. Thank you so much. I never thought in a million years like I would get more than 100. So thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, have a good night. Take care. See you Saturday.